All right, this weekend is UFC 316, O'Malley versus Merab number 2. And oh my God, Pena versus Harrison. We've honestly been blessed by the UFC gods. No, I'm joking. This is not a good card. There will be no gaslighting in this video. Now, with all of that out of the way, UFC 316 and the vibes surrounding it. So this morning I woke up as usual and I drove my car to go get my morning coffee. Now, on the way to get my morning coffee, I like to watch some MMA content on YouTube. So what did I do? I put on Bedtime MMA and I started watching his video. Shout out to the Aussie homie. But as I drove along in my car and listened to him tweak out with his impressions of UFC fighters, I kind of come to this realization that I don't give a fuck about UFC 316. And it can't just be me, right? Because usually when there's a UFC card, a big pay-per-view, I'm giddy, I'm excited, I'm breaking down this fight and that fight. But this card is like, When I look at 316 as a whole and try to get excited for it, it's like trying to get excited to vacuum my fucking room. It's a fucking chore. And some of you fuckers in the comment section will be like, "Ow, you're a fake MMA fan. This is actually a really good card. On the prelims, shut the fuck up. It sucks. This is a mid pay-per-view that's not worth your money." How much does this shit even cost these days? $60 dues. This is not worth $60. I do not climb up into roofs and sling cables through there to be raped by the tax man and then pay for this shit. No, I'd rather spend that money on anything else. Let's go out to overpriced brunch, get some coffee and some scrambled eggs. Like, I would prefer to buy more of these. Can you think of a better way to spend your money than Dana White bald caps? It's definitely better than a pay-per-view. So yeah, guys, Dana White bald caps, so you can buy them for $69.95 each, or you can get 3 for $49.95. Link in the bio. The UFC as a whole right now is just crashing into every single obstacle that they can see. Like, what did we have last week? We had Blanchfield and Barber. And I'm fucking pissed off because if I had have uploaded my women's MMA video 1 week later, it would have done numbers. Because what did we see? Nuclear disaster. That card last week, Blanchfield versus Barber, was the first card that I have missed in over 4 years of watching the UFC. Normally I'll always make time for it, but I just thought I could just make videos for you guys. I could go out and get a coffee. I could do anything else. I could stare at my fucking wall because that would be time better spent than supporting the company that hates us as fans. And I don't want to be this guy that just rants about the shit quality of the UFC, but I know you guys understand me and you feel the same way I do. It's just a shit show lately. You have a feeling when it's a really good pay-per-view. Even if it's a really good fight night, you have this feeling of, yeah, the rest of the card is but that one fight, holy shit. And this card just doesn't have that. So I'm going to break down the card in a way that when I pull it up on Google and I look at it, I go, what the fuck is that? So firstly, aligning with my hating of women's MMA videos, what is this? And why is it in the co-main? I know Pena brings value in terms of yap. You know, at the press conference, she's probably going to dominate. And in the cage, she's going to be like, times 100. But can we not give these women a card of their own? Not like last weekend where they sabotaged themselves, but a card of their own, top to bottom stacked. All women. I know it's financially destructive for the UFC to do so, but it would be better for the sport and everyone involved if that's what you did. Because I swear for the last few weeks, and also the next few weeks moving forward, and this weekend, there is a women's event in the co-main for every single card. It's like we can't escape it. It's like they haven't learned from their mistakes. For years and years, they put them in the co-mains, absolutely shit on the hype just before the main event, so then the main event looks better. Maybe that's the strategy they've been going for. That's actually genius. But now, if I'm being real and honest, this is probably one of those fights that'll prove me wrong. It'll probably be an absolute dogfight where Pena's just like, for like 5 rounds straight. Harrison's just ragdolling her for the first 2 rounds. And then she's like, ooh, getting a little bit of gassed here. These muscles, they look good, but they drain a lot of oxygen. And then Pena's just like, getting punched in the face. She's like, and just keeps moving forward. So probably I'm going to be proved wrong, but most of the time I'm proved right. And I don't even want to be right. I'm happy to be wrong. I just want to see really good fights. So can we go back to putting really good fights in the co-main, please? Next up, when I look at the card, we've got a degraded Luque fighting the guy who sometimes turns up. when he feels like it because he doesn't care about being a champion. And honestly, Luque was amazing in his prime, but after he got the brain damage or the brain bleed or whatever it was, he just hasn't looked like himself since. And when we look at Holland and we look at Luque, I see two well-named fighters, but I don't see any progression in the division after seeing this fight. So there's nothing to look forward to. Usually the opener for a card is meant to be this exciting, crazy banger of a fight, right? And although it might have that potential, I just don't think it'll go that way. What I think they've done is they've put this on the card to bring name value. They're trying to make it less mid by giving you people with a name who kind of make it seem like they're stacking it, but they're not. And more to my point, the next fight I want to talk about is Joe Fuck Mexico Pyfer versus Gastelum. Why is Gastelum still fighting? He was a dog back in the day when he was fighting Adesanya, but I feel like since then, he's missed weight like 700 times. He's cancelled like 8 out of 10 bouts, or he's lost 8 out of 10 bouts, something ridiculous like that. I'm guessing the move here is to try racially motivate Pyfer into beating the shit out of Kelvin to take his spot, and then Kelvin will leave the UFC, which honestly is a pretty smart play. And although I feel like this has the potential to be a good fight, again, it's not that stacked. It's a cool fight, but it's not like, oh my God, this is a pay-per-view we're talking about, yeah? I feel like we're being gaslit by each other sometimes. You got people calling each other casuals for having an opinion like that, and it is a decent fight, but it's not a pay-per-view worthy fight. We should be having stacked fights on pay-per-views, and those fights should be going to smaller cards. There's always someone like, oh, you're not a true UFC fan, that's a sweet fight. No, you're just used to having shit, so in comparison to the rest of the shit you've been consuming, it's a good fight, but it's not worth a pay-per-view buy. Moving on. I'm not too mad about this next one, the Patchy Mix versus Mario Batista. I feel it's a weird matchup for Batista. In a way, I feel like it does nothing in terms of moving him forward up the rankings. I feel like it's just a favor for the UFC. And it's strange that all these fighters keep coming from out of the UFC and they get such a high level matchup. And I understand you have to give Patchy the respect of a high ranking fighter or a high level fighter, but why couldn't they do like a Cejudo or a Zahabi, something like that? The only thought I can have there is that they're listening to the fans and they're like, you're right, we should punish him for what he did to Aldo. But as I said, this does nothing in terms of moving Batista up the rankings, and it's a pretty rough matchup for Patchy. Still though, the reason I'm not too mad at this is because I feel like this could be very competitive and it could be high level, or it could be a stinker. But I'm leaning towards high level. And now, the main event of the evening. Sugar versus Merab 2. And look, I get it. When we look at the division as a whole, who else is Merab gonna verse? Corey Sandhagen maybe, but they'll probably just do that next. He just beat the shit out of Umar. Who else do they really give the shot to? But in saying that, the O'Malley rematch just is meh. It's not that exciting. We've already seen it. And look, I'll take it over some shitty fight. It's still gonna be highly competitive, but in terms of a pay-per-view, in terms of a title fight, in terms of a competitive event, you want it to be something that you haven't seen before, so you can be excited for it. It's the unknowns and the possibilities that really makes you think and gets you excited for a high-level MMA fight. But we've already seen it once. And I know that fights can be exciting on a rematch, but when I think of this fight, I just don't think it's going to be any different. Now, as my man Horse Beef said, Sugar Sean had the bad owl omens last time, and he didn't stretch out his arms before the fight. So that's it, boys. That's 100% it. That's why he lost. But all jokes aside, Sean has fixed his hip, he stopped jacking off his ween, and apparently he's quit social media. But when I look at those things, I think, what does that do for your wrestling scrambling ability? Is there a link between wrestling your wiener and wrestling Merab? I just don't think so. It's weird in the mind of Sean where he might be thinking he needed to tweak a few things in his personal life to get that one up on Merab. Those 1%ers aren't going to help you with Merab. He's not human. He's a goblin. Goblins with wrestling will still beat you even if you've been off social media for a year. And as I said, I feel you could do all those little 1%ers, right? And it just wouldn't matter when it comes to this matchup. Now look, Sean talks about focus a lot, right? And it's obviously very important in the UFC to be present and to be really feeling yourself in that moment. But When you look at Merab, he's over there like, hey guys, hey, you shut up, Tim Welsh in the corner. I broke my toe on the way in here. It's falling off. No, you disrespect me, you piece of shit. I don't care how much time you've had to prepare. Like, you're restructuring your camp to be more focused. Merab doesn't even need to be focused at all. So how important is focus when you're fighting a half goblin, half cinderblock head? And we see people online like, oh, Merab's got a broken toe. That could impact his fight. That could impact his performance. No, this guy isn't normal. I swear Merab has like a superpower. He's like partially on the spectrum and then he's part goblin. He's like jumping off things and cracking his skull open. Oh, guys. Oh, I think that's going to need 72 stitches. Oh, shit. Oh, look, guys. I broke my toe again. He's not normal. I can already see it. He's going to go out there and be like, oh, right hand, boom. Oh, double leg. Oh, and he's like giving his post-fight speech whilst he's taking down O'Malley. So yeah, that's basically it. This fight doesn't excite me. And look, I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's a massive upset or an extreme back and forth where it's razor close. That's what we want as fans. We want close, unpredictable fights because that's what really makes your heart get going. But I just don't see it happening. And I hope that it's extremely close. I hope it's extremely competitive, but I feel like Merab with his little black toe is just going to edge out a decision. And now quickly, I want to start finishing my videos with some predictions. So just the main card and a couple of fights that I'm keen for. So keeping in line with my channel and glazing Australian fighters, we have Quinlan Salkeld. You might remember him from such fights as destroying the Redeemer, Jubilee. And honestly, I haven't seen much of his fighting. I only saw that fight. So I'm pretty excited for this fight to see what he can do. He's in the lightweight division, which is a stacked division. So I'm really excited to see his potential and hopefully we can have another Australian fighter that I can glaze. Next is Ariana Lipsky and Wang Kong. No, fuck that shit off. I'm just joking. Wait, why is Johnny Walker not on this card? I swear during the week I saw he was on this event. Did he get knocked out by a 16-year-old again? Honestly, I like watching Johnny Walker fight. Is he going to get slept or is he going to sleep someone else and do the worm? Who knows? In saying that though, he has been looking horrible. That's pretty much it. There's Joshua Van there as well, but let me know what fights you guys are excited for. And moving forward to the main predictions. Now, I'm going to say Kevin Holland by TKO. I feel like if he shows up, he's a bit of an animal. And especially at welterweight, I just don't see him getting subbed. I know Luque has good ground game, but so does Kevin Holland. And I feel like at welterweight, he's just not as bullied around as he usually is. Like if he goes up to middleweight randomly, he just gets ragdolled. And we both know that Kevin's not getting knocked out, right? So I'm going to say Kevin Holland, TKO, because I feel like Vicente Luque is on his way out. Mario and Patchy. Now, I haven't seen much of Patchy's game. I went and watched some highlights, but highlights don't really tell you that much. So judging off what I've seen of Batista, I would say a horrible decision where he holds him up against the side of the fence, because really that's all I know from him recently. Kelvin Gastelum and Joe, I'm going to have to go with Joe Pyfer by decision. As I said earlier, I just don't think Kelvin is dedicated. He's always missing weight. He's pulling out of bouts. I just don't think he has his head in the game. But in saying that, I think if it was a lesser fighter, Joe could probably TKO them, but it's Kelvin, man. I think there's something to being Mexican. Mexi men just have that chin DNA. Maybe it's a taco truck. Who knows? Juliana Pena and Kayla Harrison, the main event. I can see Juliana Pena being completely mogged for the first 2 rounds of this fight. Kayla Harrison looks like an absolute, let's just say, man. And I feel like she's going to ragdoll the shit out of Juliana. But the thing about Juliana is she can't give up. It's her superpower. She might not be that skilled, but she's going to come forward for the whole fight. And I can just see Kayla with her, oh, these big muscles I have are getting real heavy. And she's like, oh, fuck, oh, get the fuck off me. And we see that over, let's say, 5 rounds. I could see Juliana coming to a decision win, probably like 3 rounds to 2. Or I could even see her finishing Kayla within 4 rounds. Depends how gas she gets. Final pick though, Juliana by decision. And now the last fight, Candy Floss Man versus the Goblin. I'm going to have to say Merab by decision. I think there's going to be some moments in this fight where we're like, oh, holy shit. But then Merab just shoots a double leg and holds down O'Malley. I think Merab will get wobbled at some stage in this fight, but then I feel like he's just going to switch on Goblin mode and then he's just going to start doing weird dances and taking him down, spamming overhand rights, takedown dance, and we're just going to see that for 5 rounds. I think Sean would have a chance in the first few rounds, maybe in the first 3 rounds, but I just don't see him having the scrambling ability where he can just pop up to his feet instantly. And I think he's just going to be zapped after having to scramble with Merab for 3 to 4 rounds. So unless he can finish it early, I just think that Merab's pressure is going to be too much for him. Now, the other alternative to this is Sean comes out early and goes real hard, real fast, and he tries to take that pressure off Merab. Because Merab's always pressuring forward, right? And that's why he's so dominant, because it's easier to shoot and it's harder to hit someone when you're being pushed backwards. Now, yes, Sean can hit him going backwards. Maybe you could step in and hit him with a knee, or maybe you can counter him off one of those overhands. But as I said, we've seen this before. Merab does very well when it comes to pressuring opponents. So unless Sean comes out there and pressures him straight away and manages to get him backing up, which is a risk to his cardio moving forward into 5 rounds, I feel like we're going to see the same fight over and over again. Spam double legs, spam scrambles, dumping, dancing, pointing and laughing, and Schmitty at the after party. Hopefully though, guys, it's a sick competitive fight, because God, we need it. I just need good MMA fights, please. I don't even care who fights anymore. The UFC's got me so bent out of shape. I just want to see really good fights. But yeah, I don't mind Sean. I don't mind Merab. I'm happy with both of them as champions. I feel like there's more exciting matchups for Sean, more competitive matchups for Sean. I feel like Merab is just going to dog walk everyone in the division. But there's nothing wrong with having a dominant champ. That's also pretty cool. So guys, let me know what you think of the card. Let me know what you thought of this video. Did I miss any fights? Let me know which ones are going to be bangers. Check out my other videos down below here. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to slap shit out like and subscribe button. Plenty more MMA content to come. Peace out. Enjoy the fights. Bye.